The Catechism teaches us that man is in search of God. Man seeks fulfillment, seeks to fill the void of our daily struggles. We seek ultimately meaning as united to Christ. This weekend, the readings speak to us about St. Peter, a fisherman who had been fishing all night and caught nothing. But as Christ speaks to him, as Christ enters into this dialogue, this conversation with Peter, he gives him hope. He tells Peter, try the other side. He tells Peter that listening to him, being obedient to Christ, will bear great blessings in his life. Prayer is the reality of listening to Christ. It's opening our minds, our hearts. It's elevating our minds and hearts to Christ and allowing him to do the beautiful work in us. Peter had struggled all night and caught nothing. But in that love, in that relationship that Christ speaks to him, Peter is once again encouraged to try again. Maybe the challenge for you and I is to believe that Christ is really watching. To believe that Christ really cares whether the nets are full or whether they're empty. But with you and I, with our prayer lives, listening to Christ, then we can be truly confident that God will fill the nets, the voids of our life. This week coming up, we have the reality of preparing for Lent. Ash Wednesday is the beginning when we turn our hearts away from our human endeavors and open our minds to Christ. Lent is not simply about giving up. I would suggest to you that Lent is about receiving. Number one, it's about receiving God's love. Peter experienced God's love, and he made that proclamation, Lord, I am a sinful man. Lent is to turn our sinfulness over to God and allow him to convert that wound, that struggle, into an opportunity of his mercy. Secondly, Lent is about prayer. That conversation with Peter with Christ speaks to us so beautifully about Christ's absolute concern for the daily struggles. Christ enters into the daily grind that each of us face, and he elevates it and gives it meaning and purpose. And finally, Lent is truly about recognizing that God is with us, that he hasn't abandoned us. Don't make Lent simply just a moment of turning away from something. I suggest you turn towards Christ. In our parish, we're offering an extra daily Mass, 2 extra daily Masses, opportunities for confessions. And the reason is that we want people to experience God's love. We want them to experience the grace of having the daily grind make sense and the voids in their lives filled. So as we celebrate this time of Lent, have confidence. Christ is watching. He's dying to enter into relationship with you, to communicate with you through prayer. And he wants to give meaning to the daily grind that we face. Remember, this is more than a sermon. It's more than a thought. It's the reality of Jesus Christ. God bless you.